This is the lure that we just designed in the last video. The shallow diving crankbait. Fresh off the printer. I've got 2 of them. There's one still over there on the bed. These 2 little doors that are going to go here, I did start ripping them off of the brims that were on there. As you can see, it's not perfect. It does have some scarring. It does have some ringing. It does have a lot of stringing, but that's okay. It's not perfect. It's 3D print. We're going to clean it up. We're going to do a lot of work to it, and we're going to get it painted. This one, we're going to paint it with a brush. We did the last lure we did with rattle can. This one I'm going to show you how you can get a good design with a paintbrush. And then the other crankbait like this, it's over on the print bed. I'm going to airbrush it. For now, I'm going to get to cleaning this up, get the supports off, get these doors ready to go on. They're going to need a lot of trimming. As you can see, they're pretty ugly. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. The tools, just a little cheap hobby knife, small pliers, some rough grit sandpaper. So I'm going to let it run. I'll fast forward through this and I'll see you guys whenever I get it caught up. There we go. You see, I was ripping on it, squeezing and just trying to get it to separate a little bit. You can probably see right here where it is starting to separate. That's what I was going for. That'll help us kind of peel that back. Making some progress. As you can see, the top is still very ugly. That's what's remaining of the supports. The PETG, just as I've mentioned before, just really loves to stick to itself. And I don't have a bamboo printer. I don't have a multi-filament printer. I can't print the supports in a different filament or a water-soluble filament or something like that. So if you got an older Anycubic Viper, and just got to live with what I got, you know. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some sanding up here, and some with the knife. I'm gonna do it off screen. I don't want to get too much. It's a lot easier to do this into a bucket, right? Like a 5-gallon bucket or a bigger trash can, so that all this little stuff, I'm sure you can see all that little stuff has something to fall into, and we don't got to worry about cleaning it up twice. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Got that cleaned up for the most part. Still a little scarring and the obvious 3D print layer lines I'm not too concerned about. I will do some more sanding on it later, but also going to be using a filler primer to take in a lot of that. Now we're going to knock off these little zits and whatnot that are on here from me keeping the filament a little wet, more than likely. Get this sanded a little bit here. I did, when I made these pockets, I don't know if you can see, but if you remember on the video, we had made the walls inside here a little wider to give the ballast, the split shot, more room to rattle around. I actually made it just a hair, I would say thinner than I like. It's basically a wall thick, one wall thick there, but it's showing through in a bright light. See if you guys can see that. Right? Kind of, sort of, but not really. Probably. Yeah, maybe you can see it a little bit there. It's one wall worth of filament thick, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be careful not to sand too much right there. There's a possibility that it may sand through it, so just need to be aware of that. See if I can make it a little dimmer. Light's just too bright, probably. Anyway, just something to be aware of. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would have not made those as wide, but it's going to be fine. Once we get these sized up and stuck in there, we're going to super glue all that and get the UV resin on it. It'll be fine. Anywho, we get down to cleaning up some of the sides, get that ringing out, some of the smaller detail, sand it out, or smaller defects, sand it out, and get these trimmed to fit. And then we'll start gluing, getting the ballast in and gluing it all together. You know, it just goes to show you that you don't have to have a $1,000 printer. You know, if you have a Micro Center near you, it's like a big box electronics store. A lot of times they'll have 3D printers on sale for like $100. Like a bargain bin 3D printer. If you're just getting into 3D printing, I really do recommend the Bamboo Labs printers are so user friendly, quick to set up and just kind of hit print and go. The Mini was the one that was like $150, $200. That one looks like really the one to get. You're not gonna need, at least to get started, you don't need the giant one with the enclosure. To get started, I want to pick up. I mean, I highly recommend those. I think it's A1 Mini, the cheapest one they make. Having never used it, but I've watched a lot of review videos. And if anyone was asking for a printer to get started, that's the one I would suggest. You can get the Creality makes a great printer. Anycubic makes a great printer. I've got Anycubic. Both of my printers actually are Anycubic printers, and I like them. They're great. But I also like tinkering, and I like the fun of trying to figure out the puzzle when things go wrong, and I like buying upgrades and tinkering. But if you're more interested in just getting started and hitting print and go and getting something that more than likely comes out looking better than this off the print bed, I think that Bamboo Labs, I think it's A1 Mini, is a good one. Don't cut myself, don't cut myself. Will it fit? Not yet. Is that the right way? No, definitely this way. Can't tell if it's supposed to go in that way, or the other, if I have that in there backwards or not. $50-50. Close enough. I mean, either way, we're going to fill it with super glue and we're going to sand down what's there. So we're supposed to go with what we have on that one. Not a perfect fit, but it's perfect enough. Or something that's going to get a lot of body work done to it. I'm not too concerned about it. This guy, guess let's see if it needs work anyway at all. It does. Okay. I do owe you guys a resin printing video. You know, it's the way that you design it in Blender is going to be different. Obviously, it's a different slicer as well. I don't, maybe I don't know if more people have, I don't know if there's more FDM printers sold or more resin printers sold. Never really looked into that. It's probably more FDM printers sold because they're, I don't want to say more user-friendly, but a lot less post-processing. I guess user-friendly kind of is. There's a lot of chemicals and needed PPE involved with a resin printer. I think it's worth the headache though, if headache is the right word. I do enjoy mine. Dog's in there chewing up a blanket. Chewing up a blanket in the living room. You're gonna be in trouble. I talked about this before. If you saw that video on the Twitch bait, the super glue, I like it. It's cheap. I got it at Walmart. It worked just as well as several other ones I've tried. Can you get a good look at it? It's jewelry and metal glue. If I remember the price right, I think it was like $2 cheaper for a larger bottle. I think it was $5 for like 5 ounces of the Gorilla Glue gel, which I generally like to use for gluing these together. So that was $5 for 5 ounces. I think this was $3 for 7 ounces, somewhere around there. So definitely worth checking this one out. I like to tighten them down, close these so that I get a little bit more rattle in the ballast chamber. So just get you a pair of pliers and squeeze that guy closed. Like that. It's gonna be 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Obviously only 1 will fit in the back. Oh, poop sticks. No, I didn't pay attention to how I took that out. Oh well. Let's put this down. Lay on there for a minute. Oh yeah, it's gonna be perfect. Alright, let's take another look at how we'll put these in there before we glue them up. Not unlike measure twice, cut once. Ah! Check fit twice. And glue once. We'll cry. They don't like to come undone. I'll probably put these in for the time being. Sit them on the top of here. On a little stainless steel block wire tub. Move that over. I think I like that. I think I like it well enough anyway. Nothing that we can't fix. Gotta be careful to not glue the ballast. How do I want to do this? I guess gently. kind of put it along the top edge, and then you can see that. Come on. Is it clogged up? Shouldn't be. Alright, so I was talking good on this super glue. Maybe I learned a lesson on this one. I don't want to cut the end of it, but not going to come out. Bad news. It was cured and dried up way down there. I had to go way down there just to get it straightened out. I don't know what I have that I can wipe this off on. Oh, yeah. Still gonna use it. I would definitely say -1 point for this stuff, but I'm not giving up on it yet. It's too much of a bargain. I'm going to say that was storage error on my part. I didn't put the lid on too tight. I'll take the loss on that one. So I'm going to give this guy another shot and let it prove me wrong. Just putting super glue on. That's all. Kind of hard to keep it in the frame and at the same time see what I'm doing. Little pieces and fat fingers need to learn to coexist. Less fingers to it. If I had to do that all over again, I would have sanded that down a little bit more so that it's a little bit looser of a fit, because it's a little bit offset, so it's just a hair offset on one side, so it's kind of like slid over that way, and it was stuck and was glued before I had the ability to really slide it over. So lesson learned for the future: go ahead and shave that down a little bit so those pieces slide in and out with ease. Now, I say that, lesson learned for the future. I didn't go ahead and, I say that as I'm going ahead and putting super glue on the front cavity. I guess I could have went ahead and fixed this one, made it right, but you know, that's not how we're going to do things today. Glue it in there. Got lucky. Looks good enough. Alright, cool. So there's that. Need to do a little processing here. Do some super glue and baking soda to see if you can see, to fill in the cracks there, those gaps. Super glue and baking soda, and also hopefully that'll help build up right here where you see the wall is really thin, right here at the top of the pocket. Too much super glue on my finger. Okay, but let's see if, make sure we didn't get our rattles glued. Alright, we're good. I like it. Make sure our rattles weren't glued to each other or glued to the crankbait. Perfect. I'm gonna continue to doing some cleanup on it, especially here. I'll be working in the background. I'll fast forward through it. The top, I haven't decided if I'm gonna sand down more or just let the filler primer take care of that. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. And what are we gonna do with this guy? Ah, shit. What am I gonna do with you? old busted up bottle. Trash can here that I use next to my airbrush station. Full of little paper towels that have dried paint and whatnots on them. I guess I'll let you sit over there and live with that for now. Don't dry up too much while I wait. Done a lot of cleaning up down here, sanding it flush as good as much as I need it to be. I still have these kind of low spots where you can just, you can see it on camera, but I can feel it and I can see it in person. Right there where we have that one wall thickness. So I'm gonna, while I'm filling these gaps with super glue and baking soda, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of build up a layer right there just to help strengthen that. I've got baking soda. I keep this in a bag. Obviously, it's going to absorb moisture. I just use leftover brims from previous prints. Take that out and kind of drop it in place where I need it to be. For the super glue, I use this. I'm not saying that this is the best or the ideal or the perfect, but this is what I've had on hand for forever, and it's super thin. It's extra thin, obviously, but it lasts a long time. A little bit goes a long way, and what I do with it, you can see how much dust and stuff collects on it. What I do with it is I use a little dropper, and I don't remember if I got these from Hobby Lobby or from a dollar store, but maybe Walmart, I don't know. Let's give it a go. I've never tried to do this thin of a wall before. So we're really just going to be laying it on there, leveling it, and doing a couple of thin layers. Maybe one will be enough. I need something to sit under here to kind of cradle this so it sits a little bit flush, or not flush, but level a little bit. I don't know if this is gonna work. Go with what you got, work with what you have. Just gonna pat it down with the finger, spread it around a little bit, especially get it down in those grooves where the little pocket doors are, where the ballast is at. Obviously you want it to fill those. Maybe I should have used a card or a razor blade or something. That might be not a bad idea, so that I'm not pushing too much material out of those little low spots. Use what you have on hand, right? This little thin cardstock out of here should work fine. Well, I think it'll work fine. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't realize it was so far down there in the corner of the screen. I should have put a paper towel down, because I really don't want it on this table, and I didn't think about that. But we'll go with what we have for now and fix it in a minute. Keep this, when I'm not using this dropper, I try to be sure to exhaust as much of it out there as I can, and then I usually run some water in it, and then I just keep it in a baggie. Let's see. I don't think I got any on the table. Super glue, that is, but I definitely got some on these pliers. Little bucket that I sand in down here underneath the table. Spray this down into my bucket. I don't have many paper towels over here. Usually I do have a roll of toilet paper. That might be better than nothing. In a minute, when I get up and leave the room, I'll get some paper towels. Maybe, maybe not. Let's put this white toilet paper underneath this white bait and see if we can make it any more difficult for you guys to see it. Can you? I guess that'd be alright. Alright, baking soda. So I've got it sanded where I'm happy enough with it, and I would be at this point doing some filler primer, but it's really cold outside. And it's that cold, it's below freezing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go with a thin coat of UV resin over it first and use that in lieu of the filler primer. I'm kind of hesitant, but not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the hardware going here and here, in here, and then we'll get some UV resin on it. One thing that I didn't think, well, a couple things I didn't think about. With this not really being a good fit, little trap door down here, the super really wanted to go in there and clog up the ballast that we had so it didn't rattle as well, but I mean, it does, but it kept getting stuck. So it could have been glued together in there. It didn't, but it could have been. The other thing was I like to have these line ties tied together, tie into another piece of structure, and also I like for there to be a vent. So this one comes all the way through and it intersects with this one. And so this one is vented from the top and the bottom. This one vents out here, so that when you're putting the glue in it or the epoxy, it allows it to go and come out on the other side. There's not trapped air in there, making it difficult for the epoxy to go down. Actually, I said that wrong. This line tie on the front is connected to the hook here. What I didn't think about is this one, instead of coming all the way forward and tying in here, I actually tied it into this chamber where the ballast is. Well, now it's sealed off. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Win some, you lose some. Let's get some screw eyes made. I think you guys can see what that is. If not, there's a video of like lure building tools or something like that I have on the channel. The different stuff that I use. Get a piece of that off. Make sure that doesn't fall down inside there. Not that you can't get it out, but it can be a pain in the butt. I take a nail. I just do this by hand. Straighten this out as good as you can. I mean, not as good as you can. It doesn't be perfect. Just get it kind of reasonably close. Bend it in half. Just kind of eyeball it. Get you a nail. Something along those lines. And then we'll use safety wire pliers to do the deal. Get them in here. You don't want them too close to the end because they do tend to slip out. We'll get those guys in there. Secure this here so that it locks in there. Put it around your nail, and I just hold that nail in my hand like that. And pull. Do that a couple of times. I don't know if you can see, we're pulling that back there. You could do this if if you have a vise. You could do this with a vise. Oh, see, it slipped out. If you didn't have safety wire pliers, you could use a drill motor. But I'm doing this all from my computer. Showing you guys you can do this in like an apartment or wherever. You don't gotta have a full workshop. Just keep going until you feel that it's tight enough or small enough. I usually try to get consistency. I try to get it where it won't slide over that. So I'll go a couple more turns. Perfect. Cut that off definitely. Then we're going to go down to size. This is obviously way too long. So obviously it's got way too much there. What I'm going to do is cut it just a hair long, and then I'll come down about half an inch, quarter of an inch, whatever. Cut that off. It doesn't need to be flush with the top. We definitely don't want it protruding out of the top of the lure. I had some concerns before we printed on whether or not it would fit well here. If it was, I had kind of afraid that it was gonna not want to go. Not that it wouldn't go in there, but once we got it here, that it could cause some issues. But actually, it seems like it's gonna be just right. It could go, yeah. So I was thinking about carving out a little ball right there to fit the line tie when we had it in blender. That was one of the thoughts I had earlier. We'll just go with what we got. It'll be perfectly fine. That'd be about right. We can make 3 of these or 2 more of these the same length. Yep. Goes in here. Not too long. Yeah, let's just make 2 more of those. I usually look at like what would a double be, and then just a little bit longer. Right there. You can get these safety wire pliers at Harbor Freight or Amazon. Get this at Harbor Freight or Amazon. Let's see. I think we did pretty good. If any of them stood out as smaller than the other one, I would put it on the line tie. They don't. So one is as good as the other. And I've got some epoxy we're going to use over here. This guy. That's 5 minutes. I've got GB Weld 15. I used 5 minutes last time, and on this guy, it worked fine. So let's keep going through this one. Get a plastic baggie. Well, where's the skizzers? I don't have any scissors. Can't find any scissors. I need scissors. Doesn't take a whole lot, but I usually make too much, which is fine. Wasteful a little bit, yeah, but better than not having enough. Obviously, this was 5 minutes. What is it, Sassy? Sweet dog. Put it away for now. We shouldn't be needing it anymore. coming out both sides, which is good. Try not to touch it. It's pushed out from here and coming out the bottom. So that's good for those two. We might not have enough though. For number 3. Oop, shoot. Dripping off. Take this extra up here. Get in there. We have that much excess runoff. Squeeze out. Try not to get it around your hook eye. I'm going to mix up another batch for the back. Put you away for real this time. Knead that in real well, mix it up real good. Cut it and let it fall down in your bucket. I don't even know if you can see, just the tiniest little corner of that cut off. So if we put enough in here, it's going to go all the way down the weight chamber. And that's definitely going to glue in that one ballast down there, but that's okay. This one will be a silent and subtle knocker. Toss it in the trash. Kind of feel like I didn't get enough in there. Let's just get some pookie out there on the... it's squeezing up pretty good. I probably did get a good amount in there. I didn't think it was coming out that quickly or easily. Again, right before we get there, grab something to clean it off with. Usually try to keep a roll of paper towels nearby. They are nearby, but they're over with my paint equipment, not nearby enough to reach. Into the trash. Alright, I like it. Just eyeballing down it. The 5 minute gives you some time to work with it. Cool. So I'm gonna let that set up. I'm gonna clean this real well with isopropyl alcohol. Just some of that. And brush some epoxy resin or UV resin on it and put it in the chamber. So let it sit for a minute. We'll come back. But it put some UV epoxy on it and used that kind of as a filler primer. It's 20 something degrees outside. I didn't really think it was going to do too well with spray paint. Put the UV epoxy on it, put it on the turner, let it bake in the UV lights for a while, came back and knocked some of the gloss off of it. And now we're going to do some painting with a brush. I think what we're going to use is we're going to do just some craft store paint. We're going to do white. We're going to do yellow, orange, black. And then I'm going to try to come over with some thinned out dark green for some accent lines and whatnot over the top of it to see how it looks.